The planet of Toran was a cold, barren world at the edge of the galaxy, often overlooked by the bustling civilization that thrived in the center of the star system. Few ever ventured to the far reaches of the galaxy, and fewer still had any reason to. It was a place lost to time, its history obscured by the dust of forgotten battles. That is until Lily, a young scavenger with a love for old technology, stumbled upon something that would change the course of her life, and possibly the galaxy's, forever. Lily had always been curious, always with an eye for relics of the past. She spent her days combing through the remains of war-torn planets, salvaging what she could to sell or to tinker with. But nothing could have prepared her for what she found when she ventured to Toran. The desolate planet was known for its long-abandoned war machines, relics of an ancient conflict that had taken place centuries ago. Most were hulking metal graves, their systems long dormant. But Lily had heard rumors of something much more intriguing, something that was said to be buried deep within the planet's frozen landscape. An ancient fighter ship, still intact and untouched by time. Guided by nothing more than a vague map and the whispers of an old veteran who had heard stories as a child, Lily navigated the icy wilderness. It took days for her to find the ship, buried under layers of frost and debris. The ship was enormous, nearly the size of a small city block, its once pristine hull now scarred with the passage of time. The markings on its exterior were faded, but Lily could still make out the name, Vengeance, stenciled across the side. The ship was massive and imposing, its sleek design still beautiful in its own way. But what struck Lily most was the silence. There was no power, no signs of life. It was as though the ship had been deactivated and forgotten, left alone in the freezing cold for centuries. Lily set to work immediately, eager to see what secrets the ship might hold. She had spent years learning how to restore old technology, and now she had an entire fighter ship to tinker with. She worked her way through the layers of ice and snow, eventually finding an access panel that led into the belly of the ship. With a few quick movements, she bypassed the security measures and opened the hatch. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with dust and the smell of old machinery. The cockpit, however, was what fascinated her most. It was intact, the control systems still functional, though powered down. But as Lily stepped closer to the center console, something strange happened. The ship seemed to react. A soft hum reverberated through the walls, and the lights flickered on, one by one, until the cockpit was bathed in a faint blue glow. Lily gasped, her heart racing. What? How is this possible? She cautiously approached the main console, where a series of symbols began to light up. In the center of the dashboard, a holographic screen flickered to life, displaying a map of the galaxy. The ship had been activated, almost as if it had been waiting for something. As Lily touched the controls, the ship responded, shifting into action. It wasn't just the lights that came on. The ship began to hum with energy, its system slowly coming back online. Her breath caught in her throat. The ship wasn't just deactivated. It had been dormant, waiting for someone to unlock its power. But Lily hadn't just stumbled upon an ancient piece of technology. She had awoken something far more profound. Before she could fully comprehend what was happening, a voice echoed from the ship's speakers, deep and mechanical. Pilot identified. System rebooting. Welcome, Lily. Lily froze. The ship knew her name. Wait, how do you know me? She asked aloud, her voice barely above a whisper. The ship's system responded with calm precision. The pilot identification is embedded within your DNA. Her heart pounded as the words sunk in. Embedded within her DNA? What did that mean? She wasn't anyone important, just a scavenger, a nobody. Before she could digest the information, the ship's systems continued. You are the last descendant of the original pilot of the Vengeance. Your lineage was hidden long ago, and the ship has been waiting for you. Lily was speechless. Her mind raced. Her grandfather had always told her strange stories about their family, about their ancestors who had been part of a covert organization that fought in the Wars of the Stars. But she had always dismissed them as fantasy. But now, it seemed as if those stories were not just stories. They were real. The ship's voice spoke again, this time with a note of urgency. The Vengeance has been activated for a reason. The galaxy is in danger, and you are the key to its survival. Lily's legs gave way beneath her, and she sank into the pilot's seat. What do you mean? How am I the key? I don't even know how to pilot this thing. The ship's voice responded, calm and reassuring. You have the training. Your ancestors embedded the knowledge of the Vengeance into your genetic code. You will understand once you begin to pilot. Lily's mind was reeling. She was the descendant of an ancient warrior, and somehow she was connected to this legendary ship. The ship wasn't just a machine. It was a sentient entity waiting for the right person to unlock its power. Without any more hesitation, Lily engaged the ship's engines. The Vengeance came to life around her, its weapon systems, shields, and navigation systems all activating in sync. The ship was responsive, almost as if it was alive, aware of her every movement. Where do we go? Lily asked, her voice trembling. The ship's response was swift. The enemy is near. The remnants of the enemy fleet are preparing to launch an attack. You must stop them, or the galaxy will fall into chaos once again. Lily's mind was racing as she took the Vengeance into the sky, her hands gripping the controls with newfound instinct. It felt natural, almost as if the ship and she were one. As she soared through the cold atmosphere of Toran and into the void of space, Lily realized the gravity of her situation. She was no longer just a scavenger. She was the last of her line, the heir to a legacy of war and heroism, and the galaxy's only hope for survival. But the revelation left her with a gnawing feeling in her gut. She had no choice but to fight. The galaxy, and perhaps even her own future, depended on her success. The Vengeance was more than a ship. It was a living relic, a piece of ancient technology and forgotten history that had been lying dormant for centuries, waiting for the right person to activate it. That person was her. The journey ahead would be filled with danger, but Lily knew that she was no longer alone. The Vengeance was her ally, and together, they would fight to protect the galaxy, and in the process, uncover the truth behind her bloodline. As the Vengeance powered through the stars, Lily smiled despite the uncertainty ahead. She wasn't just a scavenger anymore. She was a warrior, and her legacy had only just begun.